I'm Daniel.
I'm Jay-Z.
And this is Just My DIY.
So we have a couple of fabric projects coming up, and honestly, we are so busy right now that the thought of going to the fabric store and trying to find the right colors and the right fabrics and the right patterns just kind of stressed me out.
So we realized that, hey, at home, we already have some polyester white fabric and, of course, plenty of sublimation equipment.
So the light bulb kind of went off and we're like, why don't we just make our own fabric? So that's what we're going to show you today. We're going to show you how to make your own double-sided solid fabrics as well as your own double-sided pattern fabrics using just your sublimation setup.
So hang out with us while we fabricate our fabric.
First, we're going to take you through the sublimation printing process. Now, this design we got off of Design Bundles, and we're going to go into the print settings, and we're going to say photo paper matte and best quality. That best quality is the biggest part of making sure that you're getting enough ink down on your paper. So once we have that one printing, we're actually going to go in and flip this 180 degrees horizontally because we want our pattern to line up exactly front to back on the fabric. So we go through and print that as well.
So that gets sent over to our Inko tank, which is filled with sublimation ink.
Not regular ink.
And as it prints out, you're going to be like, wow, these colors are dull. But that is sublimation ink.
These are the three printouts we have. Don't worry about the colors. They should pop once you heat them and be a lot more accurate to what you are wanting. But now we're going to go on to the fabric preparation process.
So first we're going to actually measure about how much we printed out so we can cut out a piece of fabric that's maybe a slight bit smaller than that. So here's our fabric. It's a brilliant white 100% polyester.
Sublimation ink binds to polyester, so the higher your poly count, the more sublimation ink that will actually bind to it. Now for a project like this, you do want 100% polyester. I'm terrible at cutting fabric, so I just kind of butchered it with the scissors, and now I'm trying to clean it up just a little bit with our rotary cutter and self-healing cutting mat. We're cutting it down not just to be the size of our printout, but most importantly, so the fabric is smaller than the paper. Paper and tape and things like that tend to leave indentations in your fabric, so we want to get away from that. Now, lint roll to get the lint off, and for us that frayed the fabric, so we just tried to trim off some of those frays so they wouldn't interfere with our sublimation.
So here we have our heat press set up for 45 seconds at 400 degrees.
Which that is the time and temperature for sublimation. Before we get to that point though, we do want to heat our fabrics.
And so we can iron them flat.
And get any moisture out of the fabric. Now we're ready for the actual sublimation process. Since we're doing two-sided sublimation here, we're going to put our printouts together and tape it kind of like a little booklet.
This is going to be able to make sure that we're making the patterns match exactly. Of course, this isn't a pattern, but this is a great practice for doing a pattern.
Yeah, the solid, we recommend starting with the solid just to kind of get used to the process. That's what we did. We did a couple of solids that we will show you here before we took on trying to line up that pattern. So we get it put in there again. We're not taping anything down. We're just going to leave it exactly like this.
So we have some white butcher paper since we need something slightly larger than what we're sublimating in order to protect our heat press and other equipments.
And we're going to do 2 layers on the bottom and 2 layers on the top. You're going to see how much gas really gets released in the process. But before we get there,
we're warming up the bottom plate for about 30 seconds. That way we can share plenty of heat on the top and bottom.
Because we're trying to do two-sided sublimation. So there it is, 2 layers of butcher paper underneath, our little booklet in between, and 2 layers of butcher paper on top.
Smash it down.
For 45 seconds.
See that? Those gases running?
A lot comes out in these. So we are going to get our setup ready to pull that out, because once we pull it out, especially when we get to the pattern, like, we want to move quickly. So we're getting everything ready for that to come out of the heat press, as well as getting our heat resistant gloves on, because when this comes out, it's 400 degrees. It's very hot. You do not want to burn yourself. Now we're going to get set up to show you how this works when we come out. Pull open the press, pull it out,
and open the booklet and pull our piece of fabric out. You can see, obviously the colors are bright and brilliant on both sides of it.
So success for the first press. Now we're going to do it again. This is a darker blue. Same process we went through And I'm going to pull it out and it's nice and complete. So we're going to move on to showing you how to do the pattern.
So here we have the matching patterns, which we're going to want to match up like a book as well, but we happen to have this handy dandy little light mat.
That's going to help us make sure that it's lined up exactly, because this is going to show through the other side, so we don't want anything off kilter.
So you can see we tape it down in place, everything aligns nice and perfectly. So we take our piece of fabric and, like we did before, insert, lay it back over, double check,
triple check, everything. We're going to heat up that bottom platen again. Again, we just want to make sure both sides get tons of heat. We added in an extra piece of blowout paper here just because a lot of ink comes through when you're doing this. And 45 seconds at 400 degrees later,
we open our book and there is our double-sided pattern.
This turned out so well. Now, if you do have any wrinkles in your fabric, we are going to tell you how to iron it, because you don't want to put it back into a 400-degree heat press. That will reactivate the ink and cause it to fade. So we are using a Cricut Easy Press at a lower temperature in between a couple of sheets of paper and light, quick strokes to iron everything flat.
You can see it makes it come out nice. And here we are. You can see each one is great colors on both sides.
And the pattern matches. We can't wait to show you what we make with these fabrics, but in the meantime, if this tutorial was helpful, please consider going over to Patreon and supporting us at patreon.com/justmightDIY. A few dollars each month helps us keep creating content like this and gives you a few benefits.
Of course, another great way to support us is to give this video the thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell. Fabricate your own comment down below.
And of course, down in the description, we have links to everything that we use, as well as links to our social handles. Please connect with us across platforms. We love hearing from you. And don't forget to check out our blog at justmightdiy.com. Thanks for watching.